Woo.
Hello, it's JOanne here from JOanneEarns.com, and I'm delighted to bring you another interview in part of our series for business and babies, all about women who are juggling business and babies, doing the nap time hustle. And I know that our guest today, Dana Inouye, juggles 4 kids, is that right?
Yeah.
4 kids.
Yeah.
Range of ages, and she's doing amazing things. I can't wait to share her story with you and hear all about what she's up to next, because I know she's got some fun things in the pipeline. So cool. I'm going to pass it right over to you, Dana, and just, give us a little bit of an overview about your business. I know things are evolving and changing, and that's good to know as well. When you start a business, you think it's one thing, then often that evolves. So it's great to hear that journey. So take it away. Tell us all.
All right. Thank you so much, JOanne. First of all, thank you for hosting me. I'm so excited about this. Up until recently, I could have given you the concise pitch, which was that I am building a lifestyle brand for moms who've got their hands full, called Teal Urban Wear, featuring leggings with pockets. And the whole idea was to go hands-free in order to live hands-on and to marry style and comfort and functionality, so that we moms who are doing it all can also have it all. So that was my thing, and I actually ran a successful Kickstarter campaign a few months back in the summer, and I will be in the thick of fulfilling and shipping orders over the next couple months. Mm-hmm. But what I really want to talk about, as far as my business, my evolving, emerging business, is Lean In Mama, which is my blog/vlog/community, and I'm finding myself that I'm really sort of sinking into this space where everything is expanding and shifting and sort of elastic and in emergence. And so I'm sort of straddling these two spaces that are in essence connected as far as the messaging. One is the physical product space with the leggings, Teal Urban Wear, and the other is this creative content / service-based transformational space, which is reflected in my Lean In Mama blog and community. So Lean In Mama has been the messaging and the story and the voice of Teal Urban Wear, in fact, and it's always been this sort of unified, consistent message, which is about bringing more playfulness and more connectedness to our mom life, connectedness both with our kids and with one another. Yeah. And so Lean In Mama, at its core, is really about leaning into the emotions that are motherhood, the mess and the magic, and honing in on the magic in the mess. Yeah, I've heard you say that before. I just think that's so poignant, the magic in the mess. Yeah, and that's really the thread that that is consistently laced through my content. I love juxtapositions. I've always been fascinated by juxtapositions and paradox, and motherhood is rife with it, right? The magic in the mess is it's pretty much a solid recipe for going through life in general, more purposefully, more happily, but it's so much more heightened in motherhood, where the mess is abundant and the magic is transcendent. Yes. So I keep going back to this idea of quality, not quantity, right? Mm-hmm. And the intention of honing in on the magic in the mess is, I believe, something that can ground us and transform us at once as mothers. It's something that can anchor us and uplift us at the same time. And so I love to spin sort of creative musings that are playful and poetic, and to open up reframes and perspective shifts, oftentimes through observations and lessons that I learned from my kids. Yeah. And I really believe that small shifts in perspective can create big shifts in experience. Yeah. So, so let me just, I'll just add a few more words and then we can move on, because I know you have a bunch of questions, but I wanted to really, as I'm leaning into this Lean In Mama space, I wanted to really say that Lean In Mama is above all a community. Yeah. And that's the part that I'm finding really, beautiful and nourishing and sustaining. And And so I have a Facebook group called Lean and Mama that is just full of big-hearted, badass moms.
Oh, it's one. Yeah, I'm in it too, and it is amazing. You've got a lovely spirit there about and how people share and how people support each other. It's
yeah.
Thank
you. Thank you. Yeah, and I'm finding myself really called to move into this community building project because motherhood is fucking hard, and we're not meant to do it alone, you know. And it's interesting. I recently asked in my Facebook group, I just put out the question, what are your biggest struggles in motherhood? And what emerged was really interesting because I feel like there was a lot of internal struggles rather than external struggles like guilt and and shame, and it just made me realize how important it is to address these internal struggles with mindset shifts. And so one of the projects that I've started recently is this little what I call my mini mompreneur musing series, because alliteration is my jam. And it's really just a sort of bite-sized live streams that I do on Facebook, weekly lives, documenting my trials and triumphs and discoveries along my journey, sort of, the little shifts and lessons learned along my journey. And I'm finding myself really focusing on this idea of process and journey and inviting people into my process and into my journey. I feel like there is so much talk in the online space about positioning ourselves as the experts in our fields, right? And I, quite honestly, I don't feel like I'm an expert. I don't profess to be an expert, yet I do believe that I can offer tremendous value by being real and truthful and authentic and courageously vulnerable about my process. And I believe that there's value in sharing the process. So I don't have all the answers, but I like to ask the questions and invite discourse. Yeah,
and the community really pulls together when, to answer some of those questions as well, which is a beautiful thing. Yeah, I'm loving it too. And how long have you been in business? You've been in?
Oh, I am just beginning. Really a year.
Yeah.
A year. I'm in. This is all. I'm in the process. In the process of emergence. It was a year ago that I decided I am gonna create this brand and went all in on Teal Urbanwear, and it's still in process and it's still in development. But I'm kind of like I said, the idea for Teal Urbanwear from the start was always about more than just a product. It was really about lifestyle and about motherhood and about, leaning into the magic and the mess and going hands-free so that you can live hands-on. So everything is sort of, it's all connected.
It's the same,
I have yet to see where, so, pardon me?
I was just saying it really comes from the same place, doesn't it? I remember.
Yeah, it does. So I have yet to see where, how to pull all the threads together is what I'm trying to figure out.
And it'll evolve, won't it, over time? So
yeah.
Cool. Now you have 4 kids, am I right? Range age, I want to say from 2 to 12. Is that about?
Yeah, just about. My oldest will be 12 in a couple of weeks. And then I have a 9-year-old, a 4-year-old who will be 5 in a couple of weeks. Also, their birthdays are days apart. And I have a 2.5-year-old is my little.
Cool. So in terms of working around the kids and all of that, I know that's something that people are interested in. How do I do the nap time hustle? Do I just work in nap times and evenings, or can you kind of blend the two? And everyone has to find their own way. What's worked for you in that regard?
Well, the nap time hustle is in fact the only time that I have to work on my business. So it is pivotal to my business and my mompreneur process and journey. And it's something that I have come to relish.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, obviously for the quiet time that of space and time that is just quiet. But also because I've found that it really anchors me in an entirely embodied way. In this juncture of, this overlap, this interspace of the mompreneur space, right? Of like the mom on the one hand that is nourishing and feminine and soft, and then the preneur that is, you know, driven and focused and committed. And so my nap time hustle is, like I said, is really sort of pivotal to my project of reimagining mompreneurship in a way that is more integrated and supported and in flow. And let me paint a picture for you, and just to explain, you know, to sort of describe what I mean of being in this embodied space. So I am still nursing my 2-year-old, and so, you know, 1 o'clock comes around, she naps between like from 1 to 3 or 1 to 2:30.
Yeah.
And so 1 o'clock comes around, I set up my 4-year-old with YouTube Kids. He has like an hour and a half of his YouTube Kids school, and, you know, no guilt around there.
No.
Let it go. And I take Sophie up to bed with me, and she falls asleep on the boob. So I have, you know, so I'm lying there, I have baby on breast, laptop on my lap, and, you know, my feet usually comfortably perched on a mountain of motherfucking laundry. And
right there.
And that's it. And that but one thing that I've found to be really really helpful and nourishing as I move into the space from mom to preneur is this little transitional space, this little transitional sort of ritual that I've created to allow myself to soften into the work and to anchor myself in a place of gratitude and purpose. So while I'm nursing her in the time that it takes her to fall asleep, I'll use that time, that sort of interim time, to just visualize or gaze at her, or take some deep breaths.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that really allows me to move from one space to another, from the nurturing space to the get shit done space.
Yeah.
In a way that is more easeful and that is not so rushed and stressed.
Yeah. And it's gentle and peaceful for her as well, that she's kind of going, quickly want to do this and then go. It's actually right, because so many times we take this energy of like, oh my god, okay, I only have this amount of time and I need to get this going and I need to fall asleep, like, it's like this, like, and they won't fall asleep. There's the times when they won't fall asleep, if you like.
And I find that if I'm, when I'm in that space, I'm like, you need to fall asleep right now. I'm like, then I'm not in a place where I am ready and open to focus on, on my purpose and my business. So it's like giving myself that time to transition and to be with her and focus on her, or focus on my breath, or on that, in that transitional space. And then I can move into the work from a place that is much more purposeful.
Beautiful. Thank you.
And I have to say that sometimes, some days are more productive than others. There's always that struggle of figuring out what do I need to focus on, and what are my priorities, and what is the 20% that will yield the 80%. And and some days to be honest, some days I just fall flat asleep alongside her.
And perfect, because you probably need it.
And I think, and that's actually been a huge, like, one of the biggest lessons and biggest gifts, most valuable gifts that I've been able to give myself, is the ability to be okay with that. And to give myself permission to do that, and to reframe work and rest in a way that serves me, because sometimes the work is in the rest, and the rest will allow us to give our bodies and our minds what they need, and to emerge refreshed.
And then there's other times that doing the work itself just re-energizes you and recharges you, and that
and also a lot of times I'll observe my kids and just kind of like spin musings and lessons that I see in episodes of observing my kids. And I there was a day when my 4-year-old who is always in character, in some sort of role play character. He's either Bob the Builder or Fireman Sam. And the other day he was Bob the Builder, and he had his Bob the Builder safety goggles on, and he, you know, when he was very serious about the stuff that he was doing and building, and then he fell asleep. And there's one lesson, right? The first lesson is listen to your body. But then what was even more interesting to me was that as soon as he woke up, it was like, oh, okay, you know, let's get this done. This thing has a little thing where it needs to.
Oh, straight back in character.
And it was right back in, and it was so fascinating to me to see the fluidity with which he goes from work to play to rest, and it's just this transition from one to the other that is so fluid and so ethereal. And I thought, wow, what an interesting lesson, you know. And I think that it really is all about having a really strong intention and purpose and listening to our bodies.
Yeah, at the same time. That's very, very true, very wise. So juggling business and babies and kids, it gets pretty hectic at times. What do you do to switch off? I mean, you kind of touched on that transition phase from mum to entrepreneur space, but actually just taking time off that's not business and that's not being a mummy, do you ever get that? If you did,
right. That is such a good question. I feel like I rarely have the luxury to switch off, because I don't have regular childcare, and my kids are pretty much with me the big kids are in school, but
the two little ones.
The 4-year-old is in preschool just 2 mornings a week, and the little one is with me all the time. But what I want to bring up is that I find that oftentimes I'm able to replenish myself, not necessarily by switching off, but by switching on. And by that I mean that, you know, really leaning into the moments where I can be present with my kids and really listen to them, you know, really listen to the shit they say, and open myself up to sort of a sensory experience and interaction, you know, smelling their hair, touching their skin, having a crazy dance party in the kitchen. I feel like where so much of my time is not kid-free and not quiet, I find that there is immense value in accepting and leaning into the crazy. And that can be nourishing and invigorating too. Not necessarily in a peaceful, contemplative way, but in a sort of fulfilling, invigorating way.
It's cool. I like it. I haven't thought about it like that before. Yeah, I think because I'm generally more of an introvert, for me, the recharge is like I need to just go and have some quiet time somewhere for a little bit at some point.
No, and that is absolutely, and you know, and sometimes it's my shower. I mean, sometimes that's all I have, but it is, it is so valuable and so important just to be in a space by myself for a few minutes to breathe, and you know, and the shower is like the biggest blessing.
I agree.
My mom life.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk a little bit more. On that topic, because I've been thinking about this actually lately, about, you know, this whole idea of self-care, and you know, and how that term is just thrown around so much nowadays, and so apropos what we were talking about, and apropos that in the shower, I just feel like we need to. I feel like it's important to talk about the way we regard self-care, and to sort of adjust it and reimagine it and revise it in a way that makes it more nourishing and more sustainable, because all those things that sound so nourishing, and you know, and that are like the massage and the pedicure and the facial, and like, I would freaking love to have the time and the space and the luxury to do all those, but I don't. And and I just feel like it's not sustainable. And I feel like it's really valuable and really important for us as moms to
to reimagine self-care in a way that is sustainable from the inside out. And that can be, and it can be as simple as giving ourselves the credit we deserve.
Yeah.
Or taking a break, or resting, or taking a couple deep breaths over the, boiling kettle, while the water boils.
Yeah.
Or gazing at our children when they're sleeping.
And reading is a big one for me as well. Just reading, you can get really absorbed. I mean, I love all my personal development books. You see my bookcase, it's crazy. But also just reading a novel occasionally,
Yeah.
So stuck in that routine of, I must read something useful and it's going to help me grow or whatever. But actually just switching and reading some Jodi Picoult or whoever, whichever author you like.
Totally.
That's great as well, because you're completely absorbed in this other world, forget about any stress or worries or whatever's going on.
Absolutely.
In your own life, and just different way of looking at self-care that's not like a to-do list that feels more like more stuff you got to do to tick self-care off the list.
Wow. It can be small moments,
moments.
That, like small moments like that make a big difference.
Yeah, that's cool. So entrepreneurial journey, I think of it is very much like a roller coaster ride. Many, like the highs are amazing and you're like, wow, you get sales and like your Kickstarter. I know there were some lows during that, and then the big high, you made it at the end and it was awesome. I mean, hats off to what you created just in that time. Honestly, is phenomenal. Amazing.
Thank you.
And I can't wait to get my leggings too.
Yes.
But those kind of ups and downs, what have you found kind of helps sustain you in the down times, and just any music you've got on that roller coaster?
Yeah. So, oh my God, it is absolutely a roller coaster, and it is slow going. Especially in my case with, with an hour a day, nap time. And so I think, it's really, one thing is really, recognizing that it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think celebrate the small wins.
Yeah.
Take the time to look back at how many things you have actually crossed off your to-do list. I think, I write to-do lists just so that I can cross them off, but and there'll be times where where I'll have I have my to-do lists on my notes. I have like multiple gazillion notes on my iPhone. But sometimes I'll just, I'll have the notes with all my to-do things, and then I'll just go and start doing things. And I don't necessarily look back on my notes every, in between each thing. But, maybe like a week later, I'll go to my notes and take a look and be like, no, I actually did that. I actually did that. It's just small things. It's so many baby steps. But I really believe that the baby steps will turn into strides. And also, just realize that slower is oftentimes deeper, and there is power and expansiveness. I think what truly sustains me is one thing that's that's totally cliche is my kids, but truly. But the other thing is really this deep desire to create and offer something that is more. And people often tell you to go back to your why, and and the why is definitely crucial. But I'm finding more and more that I am motivated by my more. And because I feel the why is what I go back to, the more is what moves me forward. And the more is this, I don't know, it's this expansiveness of space of like, pulling all the threads together in what it is that I want to create. It's this, this sort of grand experiment of weaving all the threads, of creating community, of inspiring through creative content and live events, of collaborating. I feel like it's always been about more than a product or a service. It's about lifestyle, about community, about a movement. And so I find that that's what really motivates me, is like that more, leaning into my more.
Yeah. And that curiosity about what it's going to be. Yeah. What it's going to turn to.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. Love it. And how, I know you only started the entrepreneurial journey a year ago, but how would you say it shaped you so far? Can you notice any differences in yourself? Like how you feel now to when you first started and things like that?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I think entrepreneurship, if nothing else, is a breeding ground for personal development.
Absolutely.
And the mindset work is relentless and deep. I think it has been my biggest struggle and the biggest gift.
Yeah.
And I think entrepreneurship has really helped me grow into a growth mindset. And that's another thing that I learned from my kids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the other thing that I'm finding that I'm constantly in process of becoming and nurturing and cultivating in this journey is the ability to really lean into my intuition.
Right.
And that's
Trusting
something
that more. Yeah. And it takes a while, doesn't it? To
making space for that, space to really listen and receive.
Yeah.
That's, I feel like that is something that is so, that is just so important. And that I feel like don't feel like I in all the go, everyday life, I feel like I just don't give myself the space to do that. And I've realized how important that is. I'm realizing how important that is. Because so much of this journey is not, it's not only about giving and putting out, but it's about receiving and listening. So that's something that I'm constantly working on
and learning. Yeah, same, absolutely. Now, here's a good question. What do you wish you'd known then? Like, so when you first started, what do you wish you'd known then that you know now? So if you could go back in time and tell yourself when you were starting, what advice would you give?
One, again, I just want to repeat that it is a marathon, not a sprint. I feel like when I started, I was like, I just had this in mind, like, okay, by this, in 6 months, I will have launched this clothing line, and, and this, and have like my online store and all this stuff. And the time, like, allow yourself to take space within the timeline.
Yeah.
And and really recognize that it is a marathon. And the other thing I would say is to allow yourself to be in what Kate Northrup calls the fertile void.
Yeah.
Let yourself be in the process of becoming.
Yeah.
And I think you will always be in the process of becoming, and there is so much power in that.
Yeah.
So I think my biggest piece of advice would be to just open yourself up to that space and to this sort of expansive, elastic, and know that you're, be in it for the long haul.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's great. Thank you. Now, what would you say really drives you? Is there like a bigger why? I know we've talked a lot about the community. I know how deep your caring does go for that community. Is there like a bigger why to your business you'd like to share with us?
I think you actually nailed it. I think it really is I keep going back to community. And I feel like motherhood is such an isolated experience in our day and age and generation. And It was never meant to be done alone. And I feel like what really drives me is creating this connected, expansive, supported community. And also really to, sorry, my phone just alerted me that I'm low battery, but we're good. Also to just bring fun into the equation. There's a book. There's a book by Jennifer Senior, who is just a brilliant researcher, psychologist, and it's the most brilliant book title. I love the book title. The title is All Joy and No Fun, and that is her. That is what she describes as the paradox of modern parenthood. And the idea is that the joy that she refers to in the title is the deeper meaning of having kids. There's obviously, I think as moms, we can all agree that there is deep, profound meaning to our lives as moms, by the fact that we are mothers and we have kids, that there is deep meaning in that. But are we having fun?
Yeah.
Are we really having fun daily, in the day-to-day, where we're so, there's constantly, the spills and the wipes and the laundry and the dishes and the chauffeuring, and where's the freaking fun?
Yeah.
And so I think a part of my mission really is just to bring
fun back.
Some freaking fun into our mom life.
I love it. That's awesome. So one of my favorite quotes, which I think I've shared with you before, is the Gandhi quote of "Be the change that you wish to see in the world." What is the change that you would love to see in the world?
Kindness.
Kindness.
Yeah. I love the quote from Wonder, the book Wonder.
Oh yeah.
That if it's between right and wrong, choose right and wrong. If it's between right and kind, choose kind.
Oh.
Between being right and being kind.
Yeah.
And of course, be kind to others. I think, and I feel like most of us are kind to others. We
most of the time.
Yeah. But I want to add the piece about being kind to ourselves. I want to see women, especially moms, choosing kind to themselves. We are so much in giving to others mode. And I think that more than anything, we need to give kindness to ourselves. Yes. So that they receive in kind.
Yeah, that's such a good point. And that ties back to what you were saying earlier about self-care and everything as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is so true. Thank you. And then kind of moving on, kind of what's next for you? I know you've got lots of exciting things coming up.
Yeah.
Lots of ideas and lots of stuff going on. Do we know yet what's next? Or?
Yeah. Okay. So there's a few things. Yeah. I'm excited. There's a few things. A few things that I have coming up on both fronts. So, both spaces that I'm straddling. And one, as with Teal Urbanwear, I actually have some local pop-ups coming up here in Portland.
Cool.
And in Portland, Oregon. So, and I'm really excited to get local and to be in community. So I'm collaborating with this amazing mom who owns this sweet boutique here in Portland, and talking about business and babies, she has her 4-month-old baby in tow with her in her boutique every day.
It's amazing what women do. It really blows my mind.
It really is. And so I'm really excited to connect with community and to create to create an experience. So there'll be music and spiced cider and chocolate and a table for kids with kinetic sand and of course Teal Urbanwear leggings with lots of pockets. So that's one thing, and then on the Lean In Mama side, as far as the content, creative content side of things, and live events,
cool.
So there's two things. One is an online summit that I have coming up, probably just early next month. I think I'll be dropping it. It's called the Mama Knows Best series, and it's just an interview series with five guest moms. The thread that is laced with the interviews, of course, is this idea of finding magic in the mess, but the topics span an array of areas that are part of a mom life. And the idea is just to, it's all about sort of simplifying and elevating the motherhood experience. So I have a range of topics from mindset and beliefs to creating creative play spaces, reframing the way we look at time in order to create more time or more calm and sanity. Another mom is talking about inviting more pleasure to our lives. Another mom is a productivity expert, so she offers, productivity hacks and how to get more shit done. And so this is going to be a free online summit series, and it'll be in my Facebook group, and
so where can people find out if someone watching this is interested? Where can they find out more about that?
The best thing, you can connect with me on my social media, but the best way, I think, is on my Lean in Mama site. There, if you, I love it. That is that's the real thing.
The real thing.
By the way, in my Mama Knows Best Summit series, there'll be cameos by my 2-year-old that were totally unplanned also. Anyway, let me just be concise. The best way is to join my Lean in Mama Facebook group.
So just go to Facebook, search groups.
Everything will be there. Yeah, Lean in Mama. And then the other thing is just to the best way really to keep abreast of everything that I'm working on and weaving together, and is to get on my mailing list. And so there's you go to leaninmama.com. There's a little opt-in there. You can also get a little freebie PDF.
Cool.
On my mompreneur, a few of my mompreneur lessons, and there's another little freebie PDF about how to infuse more fun into your daily life with kids. But really, it's through my emails that you can keep
share more. So
keep abreast of all the stuff that's going on, and also it's where I share sort of more juicy, elaborate mom musings. But the other thing that I wanted to mention that's coming up for me is in the spring, that I'm planning on launching in the spring, or launch sounds like a funny word, but what I want to create is a retreat for, I have this vision of creating a retreat for moms and kids together. And this really stems, again, going back to that Jennifer Senior title of All Joy and No Fun. I'm committed to flipping that equation and making it all about fun.
Yeah.
So this retreat, it's called Rejoice. It's really about creating a container of space and time where we can take a time out from all the mundane things and the spills and the crumbs and the laundry and the chauffeuring, and take a time in to connect with our kids and with other moms in a way that is fun and invigorating, and drama games and dance parties and splatter art, and also some really nourishing restorative time for moms away from the kids.
Right. Nice mix.
Yeah, it'll be in nature, and sort of think summer camp or summer glamp for moms and kids together.
Yeah. That sounds amazing. Cool.
Yeah. And then as far as my hopes and dreams for the future, I think I would love to spend more time writing. I feel like there's a book.
I was just about to say, and what about that book?
Yeah.
Because I have a little insider knowledge.
I know.
It would be amazing.
Yeah.
I think you've got a lot to offer in that regard.
Thank you. I'm hoping to find the time to do that. I don't know. I feel like I need a bigger nap time hustle chunk of time to
So I guess your 4-year-old, he'll be starting school.
He'll be starting school next year, and then And then I could put her in, you know, in like a few days a week, and I feel like that will really open up more space. More space.
Not long for you, isn't it?
Yeah. And my other thing is really to continue to develop ways to connect with and serve my mama tribe by bringing my own content as well as that of guest experts and contributors. And my vision is really, you know, for a community of moms who feel supported and inspired to make motherhood more fun.
Love it. That's amazing, Donna. Thank you so much. So just finally, any sort of final practical tips or advice for mums starting out?
Lots. I'll try and be brief. I'm a master at making short stories long. But a lot of it is stuff that was mentioned already throughout. Be kind to yourself. Prioritize based on your core beliefs or purpose. You know, like really think about where you are in this season of your life, and what do you want. You know, when you look back on this season, how do you want to see it? How do you want to remember it? And then prioritize accordingly. Try to separate work and, you know, work and play, you know, by separating them in space and time where possible. I know we're human and we all multitask. I would say let yourself rest and play. Be real about what you can do, or more importantly, what you like to do. And then outsource the other stuff. Ask for help. That's one of the hardest things for me, is to ask for help, but it's worth practicing. And finally, I think what I really want to say the most is to realize and own how motherfucking badass you really are. I think motherhood makes us realize how capable and how strong we are, but I think at the same time, we often lose sight of all the things that we're doing and how incredible we are, that we are, in fact, like doing all the things. You know, we are event planner, and we are coordinator, and we are strategic, whatever. We're just doing all the things.
All the things.
All the fucking things. And I think we need to, I want to invite you to take that realization of all the things that you're doing and realize how undeniably badassly skilled and capable you are. And then channel that into yourself, into your business, into your babies.
Yeah, beautiful. I love it. Thank you so much. I knew this was going to be such a joy to speak with you. It always is. So thank you so much. I appreciate all that you've shared with us. And yeah, I can't wait to hear what's coming up next. It's going to be amazing. So yeah, find out more, leaninmama.com, and also on Facebook, join us in the group. It's lots of fun, lots of amazing women in there. So cool. Thank you so much.
Thank you, JOanne. This has been so much fun. Thank you so much for inviting me to share.
My pleasure. Thank you.
All right. Bye.